Welcome to the COURTSIDE Podcast. I'm your host, Wayno, and with me, the People's Champ, V-Rock. Vince, welcome back to the show.
One night, I hope your head just explodes.
My wife just comes out with a shotgun. Oh, wait, we're in Australia, that's right. And we're joined, as always, by Stu Benson.
Good to be here, guys. You didn't call me Sydney's second richest man. What's going on?
Oh, should I do it again?
No. That's cool. I've got a long memory.
Disappointed.
Don't ruin you've ruined the gimmick, Wayne.
I have? I'll save it in the
we're
edit.
gonna have the sound of money and no context.
I'll just throw it in randomly through the show. Guys, great to be back for another roundup of the hottest topics in the league. We're going to cover some teams as per usual. But first, long-time listener joining us tonight for the first time, it's Brenton, Don't Give Me No Diet Coke Cunningham. Welcome to the show, Brenton.
That Coke. Thanks for having me, boys.
Sponsored by Coke too today, because Brenton has shares in Coke, let me tell you.
Always a classic, always Coca-Cola.
Too good. Yes, guys, it's going to be one of those kind of shows this week. We should get the ball rolling this week. We're going to jump into the Eastern Conference, guys, and a team that played today had a fantastic game. The Philadelphia 76ers, currently 33-27 on the season, sitting sixth seed in the Eastern Conference, 8-2 in the last 10, and a big win over Cleveland today.
Well, you got to trust the process, right? I mean, I think we're all big fans of Philly, and we're all a little bit disappointed early on when they were sitting on the fringes of the A. So to see them hitting a win streak post All-Star, which is when it counts, is really encouraging against some very decent teams. And I love what they're doing. I think we're all unanimous fans of their roster, of Coach Brown. I like the billboards leading into the arena in Cleveland, telling LeBron that he's going to complete the process. So, maybe a bit of an audition in front of the King today.
I heard that during All-Star break or near around that time that LeBron was looking at schools in the area.
Oh, knock it off!
I just heard the rumor. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's very much wishful thinking. I like the fact that he might like to stay on the East Coast and stay East Coast for his career, but I still don't. I think it's fanciful that he would go to the Philadelphia 76ers.
I don't even think they have schools in Philly.
Oh my goodness!
Well, that's why Will Smith had to go to Bel Air.
That's right.
I'm looking at the stat sheet now. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players that scored 10 points and above for the 76ers.
Oh man, they're
obviously doing something right, sharing the love.
Well,
you look at the Cavs, you've only got LeBron scoring 30 and 3 others in 10 points or more, and that's it.
Brenton, how dare you come prepared for this podcast?
What on earth are you doing with stats?
It's called Google, and it gives you all the NBA games and then all their stats.
Never heard.
Yeah, come on here, you make me and Benson look like peanuts. We're unprepared.
I hope you're enjoying your last podcast.
I've said my bit for the night. See ya.
I actually liked the moves. I mean, there was a little bit of a head scratcher until I sort of sat back and looked at it. But obviously, Philly have made some real slight tweaks throughout the process of the season. Sorry to use that word, but it's true. Kind of loading up on outside shooters. I mean, yes, they already had JJ Redick, who sort of surprisingly, I suppose, signed there at the start of the year. Then they made the move for after his buyout, Marco Bellinelli. He came across pretty solid. And then Ersan came over after also being bought out by Atlanta. So they're really trying to spread the floor to let Embiid, I suppose, operate down low, allow Simmons to cut, and it's just really spread the floor. He's not always consistent, but he played pretty damn well today. And Ilyasova was, I mean, he done what he was supposed to do. You know, he's a vet now. Like, no one's looking for this guy to be the franchise guy. He spreads the floor. He can hit the open shots. And, I don't know, he played pretty well. I was pretty surprised with how well he played today.
I really like him. I think he's underrated. I think they've got bigs. You can go down low and give you some post points, but also importantly some post fouls, depending on who they come up against in the playoffs. And the fact that they've got him, they're just, I don't know, they've got depth at every position. I love their depth chart. They're a great team.
One good thing I like about Ilyasova is he's the type of player who can win your playoff game. He'll come out and drop 25 and get 10 rebounds. I actually questioned why you'd want to go there, but Wayne, you won me over with your logic, which is rare.
I've got that recorded, just so you know.
Yeah, that's recorded, frame it, whatever. But yeah, no, I actually, you've won me over. I like the move. And Bellinelli, much the same, can come out and give you 20 and win a game for you. So, like Benson said, big fan of Simmons and especially Brett Brown. Super stoked for Brett Brown. I think we say it every time they go on a little streak, but he's a really good coach and deserves success at Philly.
Simmons, I think, definitely hit that wall. I mean, I think people really need to remember, even though he sat last year out and was officially in the league, he's still a rookie and, his jump shot's going to come, his outside shot's going to come. But he definitely hit a slump there. But just watching him today, I just love the kid's composure.
Oh, yeah, he is cool as a cucumber.
I have such a tug of war between Rookie of the Year, between him and Mitchell, because Mitchell's playing like he's a goddamn all-star out in Utah. And then, every time I question that, I just watch Simmons' game. I just go, he's just orchestrating everything.
Yeah, you know what they're going to do, don't you?
What's that?
No, they're not.
They will. It'll be the Grant Hill and Jason Kidd scenario. Yeah. They're just co-rookies.
Yeah, and they're on opposite coasts as well. Oh. I thought that as well.
Wow, I didn't even think of that.
That's why you're the host and me and Benson are the magic.
Oh, well, thank God I got Mr. Stats over here to help me out.
Hey, good thing is Ben Simmons will come back for Australia and we'll be that medal contention this Olympics.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, God, I'll tell you what, I can't wait for that.
Me either.
So I just want to touch on, before we jump off, Philly, let's have a look at the possibility of LeBron coming across. I mean, you don't think it's going to happen, Stu? I actually don't want it to happen. Looking down the road for this Philly team, I mean, this season is going to be such a good taste for them for the future on how to prepare for games, the atmosphere from regular season to playoff experience, and that whole journey. But I'm looking at them and I'm like, man, they've still got a number one pick to come back. Their point guard Fultz, who we have not seen. Take for what you will, but the clips we've seen recently on the internet, it looks like his shoulder is starting to heal. I mean, that aside, they've still got who they got? They got Bolden stashed overseas as well.
Oh yes, love that kid.
And whatever pick they get this year. So I mean, I think they just, instead of going for it all now and bringing in a guy like LeBron, I think they set themselves up for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they need him. I think people are forgetting that Markelle Fultz was head and shoulders the number one pick. I don't care what anybody says about Lonzo, what anybody says about Tatum. When you look at their body of work in college, there is absolutely no way anybody else is going first. He is a weapon of a player. Yeah. He's going to be fine, and he is going to load up Philly even more than they are now. He makes them 10 games better just the minute he walks on the court. I'm telling you.
Brenton, any last thoughts on Philly?
No, you guys covered everything I could think of. Just looking at my stats here.
That's a T-shirt.
I love it. I love it.
No, I was just going to say with that match, you had your lovely LeBron James sort of through the legs dribble around, which I saw Stu Benson was having a lovely conversation with
half of Manila.
All right, we move now from the Philadelphia 76ers to another team in the East. A little bit ahead, Washington Wizards. 36-26, fourth in the East, 6-4 in their last 10. Look, they're playing really well. My hat's off to them. They've got John Wall sitting out. The question was raised whenever teams start playing well and their superstar/franchise guy is out. Is this team better off without John Wall? Some thoughts, guys. Some thoughts.
massive credit to Scotty Brooks. How many people, I lost count of the amount of people that said he could not coach or was a rubbish coach or he wasn't that great. I think he stuck it right up, yes. Are they better without John Wall? Absolutely not. Who's Saturansky filling in admirably? But if they're going to do anything in the playoffs, they need John Wall back, fit and firing, my friend.
Yes, because John Wall gives them 11 points, 3 assists and 5 rebounds.
How many turnovers a game is he at right now, though?
It doesn't show me turnovers. I'm lost here.
Put him on the spot.
Only 11 points. Are you serious?
Yeah. 3 assists, 5 rebounds.
That doesn't sound right.
For this year.
That sounds pretty low.
That's just from a game. The game against Golden State.
Oh, we need season averages, you goose.
Yeah, come on.
That doesn't tell us anything.
Hey, it's getting hard.
Jesus. The wrong choice of words, my friend, on this show. Believe me.
You can edit, yeah?
Yeah, have you ever edited a show and the guest just disappears for half of it?
So it's going to be me? Go on.
Hey, don't worry, it could be me. Look, have another drink, B. Have another drink. You're all right.
Oh, yeah. I've had a can already.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry, continue, show. Sorry.
That's all right. Wayne has to edit, so you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, thanks. Jesus Christ. I mean, we tend to speak about Washington in the same sort of vein. I mean, I just don't feel like they've turned any sort of corner that they hadn't already turned from the past couple of seasons. And I kind of hate to say it, but I don't know. I just feel like they haven't really won anything since Paul Pierce was there. Like, where's that?
When he was there anyway.
What's that?
They didn't win anything when he was there anyway.
Man, they haven't gotten any further. And it's been, 2-3 seasons now since Paul Pierce left? I mean, I suppose the point I'm saying is there's no one on that team that's been there, done that before, and I think that's what they're missing. Like, I keep looking at the roster and I keep going, what, like, on paper, they look great. I mean, obviously there's some chemistry issues or, something going on between Wall and Gortat because he wasn't happy at the end of last season. He's back again this year. I don't know. I just don't feel like this marriage is working out between them. But, I mean, look, he's a professional and he's kept the level head and he's there till they bounce him. But, I mean, there's just no... I don't think there's a piece to be replaced other than they need somebody in there who's done it before that they can show them the way because they play pretty hot-headed during the playoffs and that works for 1 or 2 games, but it's a 7-game series. I just can't see them getting any further than they have the past 2 years.
This is a massive diss to Ian Mahaney, championship-winning Ian Mahaney. So,
well, he has done it before, Wayne. He knows what it takes.
Oh, has he done it before?
Well, he experienced it.
He experienced it. He knows how to get blocked 27 times in one game by Giannis. Did you see that yesterday?
That was fantastic.
Far out. Look, I mean, anybody who says that the Wizards are better without Wall is absolutely mental. But welcome to watching basketball and enjoy your second game. It's I think Beal's definitely an elite 2 in the league. He has weird games where he goes like scoreless in a half, which he did the other day, or scoreless in a full quarter, and it's I don't know, it's kind of not befitting the mantle of someone who should be, I think, a perennial all-star. However, look, it's just weird. It's just one of those. I mean, who are they going to get in the off season? Who are they going to attract? I think they've had to do with what they could. I think they, Scotty Brooks has, as Vince said, proved the naysayers wrong. I question some of his plays in fourth quarters, and I find that a lot of teams do catch up on them and that they make winnable games closer than they should be. But, you learn through a season, and hopefully by the time the playoffs roll round, you're battle-tested. I like Oubre Jr. Has come through. I like Porter. I think they've done all right. Meeks has been giving them when he's been on the court some great minutes.
Okay, all that said, Stu, how far do you really see this team getting though? I mean, have they really improved? Experience aside, I mean, what's taken them through to that next round that's denied that they've been denied of?
I think they've got the benefit of the fact that they're, for all intents and purposes, almost the same core as last year. That will help if they're coming up against teams. Like let's say they draw the Cavs in one of the rounds, and LeBron has essentially got 30-something games with his teammates and doesn't really know what they're made of. And they're bringing a Kevin Love back into the fold. I think you could have an energetic younger team running them down in 7 games. I don't think they'd get them in 4, but I think as series get longer, I think the Wizards' chances improve.
I don't know, man. You're talking about there's a spotty Bradley Beal and John Wall coming back fresh off an injury, like.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against them, though. I like them both. I think they're a great backcourt. I think they're very good individual players. I think they can both take over a game if they need to. Probably Beal more than Wall at the moment. Really, if he gets his eye in, he's a difficult matchup. He's a big 2. And, then they've got, the guys that can hit shots. Like, Gortat can hit an open shot. Morris is... Those Morris twins, I'm telling you might not like their attitude, but... Those guys know what they're doing. They're both very good power forwards.
I thought they were going to make a bit of a splash at the trade deadline, but 2 guys I would be chasing in the off season. DeAndre Jordan, I think he would play really well and enjoy playing with John Wall, and they probably wouldn't get him. But one guy I identify to go get would be Dario Saric, play power forward down there.
Doing all right. They moved the ball around all right. They're number 4 on the assists per game in the league, so they're looking good.
Full credit to them. They are playing really well right now. But I mean, as we know, playoffs hits 7-game series, it slows right down. I mean, I can't deny that they're not a good team, but I just can't see them getting any further than they have any other year. And I mean, at times
you're overblown. You're overblowing that.
I just feel like that sometimes it's hard to tell who's the alpha dog. And look, that was the good thing about Paul Pierce when he was there, is because it was like, look, this is the way we get it done.
My God, I thought they got the absolute asshole end of Paul Pierce's career, and I don't rate him there at all.
Really?
Oh my God! Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, his career finished his first season in Brooklyn.
Oh man, no, he had a good year in Washington, man. That year they knocked off the Raps. Well, no, he had a good year. Fuck, I'm not saying he was an all-star. I just said he had a good year. That's all. Jesus Christ.
I'm not saying he had a good year. I'm saying he had an okay year.
No, I'd take 2018 Kelly Oubre Jr., Otto Porter Jr., Bradley Beal, or John Wall over.
Oh man, Oubre was too busy trying to fisticuff with his shadow. Like he was barely staying on the court at that time.
No, I'm saying right now. Like I just think I like the fact that they've got. Yeah, I kind of like that they don't have an alpha dog at the moment, and teams are going to find that that's going to be difficult because on any given night, Otto Porter can light up. Give him 28 a game. I mean, I think they're okay. I think it's a typical Scotty Brooks team. It's an underdog, and I think it'll go all right.
All right.
And Porter's only going to improve as well. So I think that's where a lot of their improvement is going to come from. But they need to move on Gortat anyway. He's getting on a bit. They're crazy not to go after DeAndre, and I just think Saric would fit there beautifully. I think you can probably get him for the right offer because they're a bit loaded there, Philly. But if they get the next few moves right, they'll be right up there. If they don't, we all know how Washington goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we spent way too long in Washington, but
I do too.
Surprisingly. Well, let's move along now to the Western Conference and a team. Well, look. Tough times. 19-43 on the season, 13th in the West. Still better than my Grizzlies. We're talking about the Dallas Mavericks, Vince.
How are you talking about the Mavericks when we're on a winning streak?
We talked LA last week.
Oh my
Big
God!
baller brand, baby.
Balling. That's
Man, we had a pretty big Lakers segment last week. We were going to talk about Portland and we flipped it. You have short-term memory, Vince. We flipped it for you.
TV ratings?
Just Brenton knows where it's at. When we put Lakers in the description, our downloads just skyrocket from 3 to 5
million.
Jesus. Well, look, we're talking about Dallas right now.
Let's talk Mavs. Let's go.
Okay, so had a pretty interesting game against OKC yesterday, I believe it was. Lost by 1. Some interesting moments. Went to OT. found it really interesting. I mean, Carlisle obviously running with the guys who are hot, but I just found it was twice for big shots, and Dirk was nowhere near on the court. Are they just ready for life without Dirk at this stage?
I hope so.
It's coming very, very soon.
He only played 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Was he in foul trouble at all?
Nope.
No.
It is truly, the bigger you are, the quicker you decline when it comes to your body and your legs and your agility. And we see it with a lot of older guys. And I remember watching, like, Toronto, which, I wish never happened. And when watching Ewing in Orlando and Seattle, and I don't know, just these bigs, it stops. And watching Dirk drag his ass between 3-point lines, and that's about it.
I know, right?
And it's just awkward. Like, even from the tip-off, so he's got Powell in the tip-off, and then he sort of scullies off either way, depending on where the ball goes, and it's just... And that's from the jump ball. Like, that's hopefully fresh legs. It's really hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of hoping this season they'd almost use in the same vein as Wade was being used, as that kind of super sub. But the games are a little bit hard to watch, and it must be hard if you're a Dallas fan, because it's kind of like you're stuck in this weird transition with Dirk still out there on the floor.
I'll tell you now, there is not a Dallas fan that is unhappy watching Dirk play right now.
Oh, no,
not at all.
100%.
Not at all.
But, and I love Dirk so much, and I hope he plays till he's 50.
Same.
Just come off the bench, or that's it. 1 minute every 5 games. That'll do.
I'm totally the same. I don't want him or Vince Carter to ever retire.
No, me either. Just because I'm the same age as Vince Carter, and it makes me feel better.
There you go.
It's good to see guys like that, because they actually have like a decent second unit. That move to bring in Dougie Buckets, man, that's paid off in spades for them out there, because at times it feels like they're the starters, and he's really starting to hit some shots. It's good to see him get some solid minutes, and Dallas kind of living with the mistakes. I've kind of have to check myself every now and then, just with Dennis Smith Jr., because it's just kind of like I have to remind myself this kid's still a rookie, but he does make a lot of mistakes on the court, and man, I don't know, it just feels like he's unhappy there.
Turn it up.
No, seriously, he might not be, but he's just got that. He's got that face that's just pout. He's a pouter.
He gave him 17 points against the Thunder.
Mate, he played well, but if you watch that last quarter and that overtime, I felt like he was sulking a little. He got upset and yelled at JJ Barrera, who made a pass to Harrison Barnes, who had to turn around Jay to give them to send it into OT, I think it was, or to bring him back anyway. And I was just like, why are you yelling at him? Like, he made the correct pass. I just feel like he's demanded the ball. He needs to be careful, because he's demanded the ball. It might wear a little thin on teammates.
Two things. Guarantee you one of the vets would have pulled him aside after the game. Second thing, who's JJ Barrera?
Barrera? Who did I say Barrera?
Oh, okay. You beat me.
God damn it.
When you listen to this back when you're doing the edit, you'll hear my giggle.
Okay.
But yeah, look, Smith probably does have to be careful. From what I've seen on Twitter, there are a lot of reporters just waiting to pounce on him. There are a lot that just they're not sold on him.
Yeah.
If he's going to be pouting and yelling at players, he's just going to give them ammo. And like I said, I really hope Dirk or Barrera just put him aside, or Harrison Barnes, and said, "Listen, it's not how you do it." And just put an arm around him and say, "Just settle down. Let's play the right way. Pass it around. We're vets. We know what we're doing." But
I mean, if you guys get a chance, do watch the final shot of that game, and like he storms off out the court and's in the hallways out and sort of takes his jersey off and slams it against the wall and makes a little bit of a scene. And I'm like, you know what? You can excuse that. No one likes to lose, and especially when you pull up with a dumb shot. And if you watch it, Harrison Barnes is wide open on the 3-point line. Like, it's pretty...
But was it because they lost, or because he didn't get the shot?
Well, look, normally I would say yes, it's because of the shot. And there's definitely some element to that, but watching that game, watching earlier games with him this year, I just feel like he's just got to check his attitude and realise he's getting minutes. Like he's got there's plenty of rookies out there not getting minutes, not getting the spotlight. I don't know.
I think he wanted the ball, guys. I really I watched the game. I watched the OT. I think he wanted the ball. I really think that he thought that he was in a little bit of a run, and that's the moment that he wanted. And I don't know. I'm cool with that. I've seen a young Kobe Bryant airball 3-pointers against the Utah Jazz, wanting to be that guy. I get that passion, and I don't know. I just think he just thought that, you know what, guys, we've just gone. What is it, like 54 minutes? I wanted the shot.
But I mean, he had the final shot, so there's that.
Yeah, I know, but look, we don't know if he's pissed off he missed the final shot or whatever. So let's not try and be a Skip Bayless here. Oh God, I hate Skip Bayless and Cowherd.
Do we want to touch on the Mark Cuban and the tanking comments earlier in the week?
No.
And Adam Silver issue.
I don't. But what about you guys?
I just found it funny that. Is he just he said the comments in an interview? It's like he just asked him for a fine, and then I found it even funnier that Adam Silver's like issues a warning after that. That the league's going to be watching teams and watching games. It's like if they're going to drop games, you're not going to know about it.
What did he get fined? What, 600K in there?
Yeah, something like that. Not 600. I don't think it was 600K.
The thing that sucks is teams tank every year. Lakers did it for the last 4 years.
He's just been honest.
Yeah, everyone knows it. But, it's like, we're sitting this player out because he's injured. And it's like, yeah, sure you are. You just don't want to. We just traded Lou. We traded Lou Williams for a draft pick. Yeah, and plus he was winning us games, which was going to cost us a good draft pick.
Yeah.
It just sucks. But he's got the $600,000 to do it. But he shouldn't have come out and said it. So
No, he shouldn't have said it, but, I mean, look, there's no way they can stop it. Teams will do it, and with the exception of, generational talents like Tim Duncan, you're not going to take a lottery team to a playoff contender or a championship-winning team in a season. These teams are doing it to aid rebuilds, and rebuilds take years. It's part of, to coin Philly's term, it's part of the process, and it takes years. Nobody's rorting a system and going from a cellar dweller to a championship banner. It's just ridiculous. The teams are going to do it every season. Yeah, give us some stats, Coke Man.
I put it into my Google machine, and the NBA...
beep, bop, 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 beep, bop.
The NBA has fined Mark Cuban $600,000 for his comments.
It was $600K. Wow. I mean, I suppose he's fining him as a franchise, really, so I suppose that makes a bit more sense.
It's a tax deduction.
But I like Dirk's, Dirk obviously keeping it classy, and he's like, no player comes out here to lose game.
No, that's the thing. It even happens in footy here, and people are like, these guys are tanking. Like, yeah, the coaches are probably making moves so the team loses, but a player does not go out there and try to lose. The competitive juices just take over.
Exactly, and to your point, that's why Lou Williams had to go.
Well,
he sure did.
Let's jump to our final team of the Western Conference, and that is the San Antonio Spurs. 36-26 on the season. Interesting. I had to double check today when I saw it, but dropped the 5th in the Western Conference. 3-7 in their last 10. Ouch.
Hopefully 3-8 come Sunday.
So many injuries right now. Pau Gasol's out. LaMarcus Aldridge went down with a sprained ankle.
Yes.
Last game, and still no signs of quiet. So, I mean, it's still Spurs basketball though, and I don't know if you guys caught the Cleveland game where they just dismantled Cleveland. It was really fun to watch. It was kind of one of those moments where you went, you know what? Doesn't matter who's on the court, as long as Pop's coaching, it's just going to be great basketball.
I think Cleveland got them on the wrong day. Like, they just lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And you just knew Pop was freaking into them big time, and they were probably pissed off. And they're a proud franchise. They were always going to come out and win that, I think.
I'm slightly disappointed from Aussie Paddy Mills on that game. Only 11 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds.
He's been playing pretty well, though. Maybe he was a bit shook up by the Cleveland sledging.
Oh, wow. Did you see that? Oh, my God.
That was a mountain out of a molehill. Are you for real? If you see... well, I don't want to get into it. Well, I'll offend a listener or something like that. But...
Well, first of all, what a total fail at a sledge. First of all, the player didn't even hear it. Second of all, you didn't even get your countries right.
Yeah, I mean, a dark-skinned guy with Rastafarian dreadlocks being referred to as a Rastafarian. Oh my God, like, that's incredible. Impeach the president. Let's
mate. It took him 2 beers courtside to get that comment out. All right.
Right, that was a joke. Look, I mean, Spurs are going to play Spurs ball at the moment. It's not working as much as it usually does. They've still got great ball movement. I think they're probably a little bit guilty of a bit too much at the moment. They're getting picked off, and I'd be interested to see what the Google machine has them ranked in terms of turnovers per game, particularly over the last maybe, 20. I don't know. I think they've been trying to get everybody involved, and it's been to their detriment. But look, I mean, they're a playoff team, but I can't see them making any noise, really, to be honest.
Where do you think this team's headed? Like,
oh, boy.
So many question marks. I mean, all right, let's get into it a little bit. I mean, obviously, Duncan retires, the mantle's handed to Kawhi, the Zaza 4 in the playoffs. Misses games this year, then is cleared to play by the team, but doesn't want to come back.
No, I've got no problem with that. I think that's media hype and people who don't know what they're talking about, assuming they know what they're talking about. That doesn't bother me that he's not ready to come back.
The only reason I think there's a bit of angst there is because Woj has got the inside scoop. Like, he has people that call him. If he runs with it, he'll only run with it if he's got the inside stuff. And there was disconnect there. There was disconnect there. Who knows if they've smoothed it over? But I reckon there's a good chance Kawhi won't be there.
Really?
And I said this to Benson and you guys in a private chat. He can't look at that Spurs team and go, "There's a good future here." A lot of their prime movers are 30, the wrong side of 30, and he's 26.
What's his future? Running and gunning with DeJounte Murray, and really, yeah.
That's got to be going through his head. It has to be. I know they attracted LaMarcus Aldridge there. I just don't think.
So, do you think it's the market? Do you think that's a part of it?
No, I just think it's the roster.
I think it's the roster. I think players want to play for pop. I think it's a privilege and something to have on your CV to say that you did. I just think it's the rest of the pieces, and I don't think that one marquee free agent's going to look at it and go, "Yeah, me, Kawhi, and LA, we're going to get this done." And if you look at everything else, I think it's a roster thing as well.
I think it's such a bigger sort of stranger situation as well, just because of the pieces involved. I mean, you talk about the Spurs franchise, who are renowned for blocking a lot of the media attention out of their franchise anyway, and then you have a player like Kawhi, who's quite reserved, is not openly speaking on social media, or he's really just sort of he's like the quiet superstar, really just keeps to himself. So it's such a hard thing to gauge, but it is very interesting.
Now, I did put in the Google machine the Spurs turnover percentage for the season. They're actually at 13.5%, which is relatively low on the overall scale of the NBA at the moment.
There you go.
Well, there you go. Who's got a screaming child in the background?
Sorry. It's new.
It's new.
It's a new.
It's all right, mate.
I love it. That's great.
It's newer than a twist top.
Brings back memories.
I don't know. I think we've spoken enough, as we did with watching the Wizards. I think we've spoken enough about the Spurs. They're just, to me, this season, they're not even on the radar. With Rudy Gay going down, with Kawhi going down, I just think with all due respect to them, I think they're a total non-factor this season.
Yeah, I'm just really interested to see what sort of team's going to be out on the floor there come playoff time. I think that's going to be the biggest reflection of where at least this franchise headed, and the team for next year.
The one thing's for sure, they will draft well, because they draft well every year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I think it's that time again.
Lakers time?
No, Jersey Worthy. Who's your Jersey Worthy of the week, guys?
We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not.
I'll go first. I could give it to Anthony Davis, but I'm not, because I'm sure one of you guys will. You know what?
Guys.
I
You almost said something else.
No, I didn't. Shut up, Benson. Julius, pay me Randall.
I knew you were going to do that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. This guy has got me firming up every time he plays.
Oh my goodness, it's terrible.
The hard work is paying off. He's demanding to be paid with his play. Did you see him today? Unstoppable. Did you see him the other day? Unstoppable.
Do you need a moment?
I've had several.
Jesus.
He just gets my loins going.
Stu.
I got a feeling Wayno's going to give his to some wick. Because you're going to give yours to someone like Gordon Hayward because he walked to the team photo. You will. I bet you're sitting there going, damn.
Crossing off my list.
Remember that time Jeff Withy liked your Instagram post?
Yes.
And then he went out there and allegedly belted his wife.
Anyway.
Allegedly. Stu,
I said allegedly.
Yeah. Okay. Mine's boring. I'm just really loving watching the guy.
You can't give it to anyone else. You can't give it to anyone else. Come on.
I can't give it to anybody else.
Well, you could, but come on, do it.
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart.
Jesus.
Shut up. The man responsible for breaking Wesley Johnson's ankles yesterday.
Oh.
I am going to give it to the beard. I'm going to give it to James Harden. They are number one in the West. They have the best record in the league, and he is, for my money, our 2017-2018 MVP, Mr. James Harden, balling out.
He gets away with so much bullshit.
He does.
So much bullshit. Like
he's got it worked out, but man, he is an upper echelon level shooter in this league, and I think people forget that he's so crafty and he's so nifty and he's so quick and he's a lefty. But as a shooter, he's elite. He's a great player.
Hey Vince, question for you.
Yo.
You played like computer games? You play a lot online. So like, have you ever played against someone who just finds a glitch in the system and then just does that thing over and over and over? Because it's like. It's not really like winning the right way, but
No, not really.
No, that's what Harden does, man. He's just found this glitch in the officiating, and he needs to watch his bows, man. Fucking hell! So many Houston games I've watched lately, and all right, they have come down a little bit on his up and under, but man, he comes up with his elbows. He's gonna clock someone. They need to watch that shit. It's just, man, they let him get away with so much trash.
You know what I'd do once if I was guarding him? Just once. He goes up for a jump shot, I'd pull his beard. You know why? Because you do it once, give it a good target, make it hurt. Every time he goes up for a jump shot, you just say, every time you jump shot, mate, I'm going to pull your beard. You put him off.
What about the unsportsmanlike and the fine? You
just get called for a foul. But I want to see him do this kind of stuff in the playoffs. Then I'll be impressed, Mr. Harden. Not that it matters what I think, but, you know.
No, I agree. He's got a lot of redeeming to do after last year, but I don't know. I think that was I think that was just an exhausted dude, and it was a bit of I don't know. Look, it got him Chris Paul, so whatever.
Brenton, you get a jersey worthy this week?
I do. Mine is going to a lovely new Laker, Isaiah Thomas, with his season-high 29 points and including 6 triples.
Nice,
Helped us get that nice win today.
Off the bench, was it?
Yes, I think it was off the bench.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, he's come off the... Just shut up. He'll be at Memphis next year, don't worry.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't believe we're the worst team in the fucking West.
Hey, we're not allowed to talk Lakers. You're not talking Grizz.
But you do anyway. Look, my jersey worthy, pretty easy one. Anthony Davis, just in absolute beast mode. I've got to go with the popular pick just because, man, he is smashing it. What are they, like, 5th in the Western Conference now? Pelicans?
Yeah, we don't care.
Man, my
We don't
slap
care.
bet is looking pretty damn good right now, but
Okay, Brenton, could you please give us the standings where they sit, please?
Okay, so what standings do we want?
we want the Western Conference standings.
Yeah, just go to NBA.com.
Yes, I'm quite there. I'm there already.
Where are they sitting?
Yeah. What's their record and who's behind them?
They're sixth. Sorry, they're sixth.
This Google machine's taking a bit longer.
Oh, jeez. Because I'm sure the Clippers are like a game behind or something.
Clippers
So
are
I'm not worried at
9.
all.
No. Well, OKC's. I can tell you right now.
Okay, which conference?
Western
I've got the
Conference.
Google.
Western
Western Conference. We've got
Come on, rookie.
right. We got the Rockets, the Warriors, the Timberwolves, the Trailblazers, the Spurs.
And then we've got Pelicans, OKC, Thunder on 8th seed. Clippers outside on 9th,
Okay,
and Utah.
How many wins have the Pelicans got? 36? 37?
They got 35.
Who's next after them?
OKC.
And who's after OKC?
Denver.
Oh, Denver will pass you.
Oh,
You're going
what
to
are
slap yourself.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
slap
about,
yourself.
sunshine? What are you talking about?
You better grow that beard, mate.
Mate, I'm going to be clean shaven because Spurs are dropping. Even if OKC jump them, I can't see Denver doing it. So I see them coming about 6th seed.
Oh, mate, get ready to slap yourself.
Mate, there's not many games left of the season to go.
Oh, there's like 20 odd. You're in trouble, mate.
There's not 20 odd. There's about 20.
You're a dickhead.
Mate, I think they're fine. I think they're fine. They're clicking. Davis spin machine. Man, quick on the Jersey worthies. Quick shout out to Drew Holiday. He's been playing really well lately. Massive game.
No.
No?
Anybody rocking that hair? No, his hair nullifies the whole thing.
Was that you in the crowd in Cleveland?
What? No, but man, I feel like what's happening? I heard of dreadlocks, but shitlocks.
They do look terrible.
Horrendous.
And he only highlights him with the headband as well. So yeah.
I know, it's so bad. But I don't know what's going on with him, man. He's like grabbing the rock and just going, get the fuck out of my way. Like, he's balling out.
Totally. Well, when you have winners, you have losers. The brain fart award. Who gets your brain fart?
All right, I'm going to give it to LeBron James.
Oh.
And as you call him, the emotional lesbian, Jordan Clarkson.
I didn't think you'd use that.
Because they all got the brazen bits because Dario Saric dared to dunk the ball when the game was over and this and that and whatnot, and Clarkson came over and threw the ball at his back and all that. And it's like, so LeBron James doesn't have a problem with it when Jordan Bell does it. Says, oh, you've got to play the game till the end. Saric does it, got a problem. It's a European thing.
He didn't really know what was happening either, right? Like, when you watch it, it's like, he's like, oh, what'd I do?
And then he shut up, it's my brain fart, you dick. And then Saric is apologising in the locker room talking to reporters. I'm like, do not apologise. If anything, cop a fine, tell them to go fuck themselves or something like that. Not in those words, but along those lines. Like, you're gonna crack it over that. This crappy unwritten rule. I don't know. I just don't get it. It's a European thing. They obviously don't respect Saric. Because why can you say it? It's okay for Jordan Bell to do it, but not him. Yep. If you're LeBron James. And Jordan Clarkson. Seriously, Saric will snap you in half. That's how we Europeans roll. Well, not me, but him. That's racist, Cunningham.
Brenton, who's your brain fart?
My brain fart has to go to the forum boards that couldn't comprehend Stu Benson's mention of that LeBron did want to go intentionally round his back, but did not plan it for it to go through the legs of his teammate. So that's my brain fart. How hard is it to understand?
So wait a minute, let me get this right. He went behind the back.
And it went through Tristan Thompson's legs.
Yes.
And came out the other side, and LeBron got it and went for the shot.
Clearly,
which is fine, because wanted to swing it round the back and dribble towards the basket, but it just magically went through his own teammates' legs and out the other side, and he got back to it.
Mate, clearly he meant that. Okay, clearly that's his vision. His vision is godlike, and like
he must have that slow-mo thing where he can just plan things 5 seconds in advance.
Amazing. People online are amazing. Stu, who's your brain fart of the week?
I don't know. This is I feel like Wayno. Ooh, I'm getting this one because it's a collective and it's not a player. But I think Milwaukee are in big trouble of not making the playoffs.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, I really do, and I think that their inconsistency might be down to the fact that they're trialing a lot of different lineups and a lot of different combos with a coaching change that I don't know if it needed to be made. I don't know. I mean, obviously there's bigger picture things happening, but I'm concerned, and so I'm giving brain fart. It might be prematurely, but I'm giving it because of what I'm seeing coming out of the Bucks. And Mallory Edens, if you're listening, I love you. You're the greatest that I have on your Instagram.
Marry me. I mean,
this has got nothing to do with you and me. We're good. But yeah, I'm just really curious. I mean, I know we've spoken about our teams, and I know we've gone coast to coast, but I don't know. They're sitting 7th. I can't count out Miami. It seems that Dwayne Wade has given them some sort of legs they didn't have, and maybe that vet leadership that could push this team. They've got Bam's playing out of his skin at the moment and giving them great minutes with Whiteside. And then you've got Detroit, who I still think could sneak up in, which essentially puts Milwaukee out of the playoffs, which at the start of the season would have sounded ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I just think Detroit's going to fall short because they're Detroit and they'll slide in at 8th.
True. Yeah, I do think that as well.
But I totally agree with everything you're saying. So to sort of piggyback off your one a little bit, my brain fart goes to Shabazz Muhammad. Because, look, there were reports yesterday that a buyout was in place. I'm not sure what happened because Thibs come out and defended it and said that, no, they like the pieces they have. They like the team they have going forward into the playoffs. This morning it's like the Timberwolves are end up going to release him, and he was quoted as saying that, he wants to go to a contender. And he's signing with Milwaukee. And it's like, well, what the fuck are Minnesota then? I mean, Jesus Christ. Timberwolves, I mean, if you're only sitting it out for 1 year anyway, why not go in with the 3rd seed in the Western fucking Conference under a fucking great coach, get all that experience? Instead, you might even miss the playoffs now anyway with signing Milwaukee. And it's retarded. It's such a backwards move.
Look. Yeah, if it's a minutes thing, I get it. But to come out and say that you want to go to the playoffs and you're going to a fringe sitter?
I mean, you know what? Fair enough if he's gone to, the Raptors or Boston even, It's like, oh, okay, well, I could see that, He could potentially be in a super sub, which everyone's waiting for him to be out in Minnesota for fucking years. But fucking Milwaukee? Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably follows Mallory Edens on Instagram and just got to do it in.
What it is. Then I can understand. Then that's okay. That's a jersey worthy then.
They're gonna have the greatest recruiting class.
It's a fine line. It's a fine line with Mallory.
Just to touch on Mallory Edens, out of the 4 of us,
you keep your hands off her. I mean,
the only one that's got a chance is probably Benson. But let's face it, he's got the money and the looks. But I'd probably have to fill in for him in the boudoir.
Could you bring your 20-year-old self from that photo you sent us today?
Tell you what, I wasn't doing too bad back then. Just don't look at me now.
Jesus.
I think there's a fucking lens big enough now.
Am I allowed to use that as the cover for this episode?
You go for your life.
Yes.
Can I superimpose a can of Coke in your hand?
Yes.
just to keep our sponsor happy?
Yes.
You go for it.
All right.
I tried earlier in the show to crack the can as close as I could to the microphone, but it mustn't have picked it up.
Hey, I've got sound bites, don't worry.
When you cracked it open.
Yeah.
There'll be a soundbite. Wayne will be able to slide that in.
I'm on it.
Next mini-sode, we've got to have Brenton on because I have stories galore.
Oh, Brenton, thanks for joining us on the show, man. Any last words?
Yes, I'd like to thank a few things.
Oh,
first, the Google machine. Thank you for my statistic work. And thank you to Coca-Cola for keeping me hydrated. It's quite warm down here.
Oh, my God.
And finally, thank you to you three for allowing me to come on the show. And I'm sure it was a bit difficult to have me on, but thank you. And I'm looking forward to many more episodes.
Well, we don't mind having you on because Wayne's got to edit, so it's all right.
Son of a...
Just before we go, can I just dangle a carrot in front of potential new likes for the page?
Sure.
Okay, what are we on? 737, 738 likes?
We are on 738.
Well, if we can get to 800 by the end of March, I'll give the 800th like a genuine champion, John Howard Wizards jersey.
See, what you should have just said is, I will give out a free jersey and not mention the player or team. I think that would have went over a lot better.
Well, he was pretty good at the Wiz. I just thought, it's just sitting there doing nothing.
What colour is it?
That blue colour.
Ooh.
Bluey, tealy.
What about a signed photo of Vince from his younger years?
Oh, now we're talking.
Well, hello, ladies.
And a burger towel.
The ladies might need the burger towel or a mop.
Oh, God, I'm going to edit that out.
Come on.
That's for the Courtside Up Late podcast.
Wow. And, of course, if you want more of the Courtside banter, head down to the website, crtsde.podbean.com. Down there, guys, you'll find links to all our shows, all the minisodes. Everything is now free across the board. So, minisodes, regular shows, Courtside Presents, Hoops Buff trivia shows, all there for free downloads. Swing by, please check it out. Of course, like us on Facebook.
The original Courtside, not the fake ones.
Yeah, don't go to the fake Courtside page. Come to us. Come to
Hey,
us.
remember when we had a trivia show?
Yes. I should get that. I should get the rest of that going, shouldn't I? All right, what I'll do, I'll get another show out before end of next week. How's that?
It's not like us to start something and not finish.
Watch out! Here it comes.